Hello and welcome to our weekly video blog, and today on A Vogel Talks Menopause we're going to be talking about how your hormones change in the perimenopause and menopause and what you need to know. If you like my tips and advice, then please subscribe and remember to hit the bell icon so you can be notified of all my new videos. It's such a confusing time as you approach the perimenopause and menopause, as most of us have no idea what's happening to our hormones. So understanding what goes on with them before, during and after the menopause can make a huge difference as how we manage to cope with everything. So do you know what hormones could be causing what symptoms? Do you know what happens to your hormones during each stage of the menopause and how do they change? Really big questions. So this week, my lovely colleague Sarah and myself are going to delve a little bit deeper into this subject just to help you understand your hormones better. So what we're going to look at is understanding your hormones and what happens to them at each stage of the menopause, because they're completely different. Why they can bring on specific symptoms is very important. Also, just going back to basics and take a closer look at the changes that can occur and what symptoms they can cause, just to help you understand what's happening all round. So let's talk about estrogen. Most of us just think of estrogen being associated with our monthly cycle. It's there to trigger ovulation, it helps with fertility, it helps with our libido. But estrogen is needed for so many different other processes in the body that are really important for our general health. Estrogen is needed to maintain our water balance in the body. It's needed for heart health. It's needed to keep our bones strong. It's needed to keep our mood up. It's really good for libido, and it's important for our skin too, to look good. So you can see already that estrogen is associated with a lot more than just our monthly cycle.
Now, Eileen's explained estrogen. I'm going to explain progesterone. Progesterone is our calming hormone. It starts to dip sometime in your early 30s, but we're not going to feel that until we're probably in our mid-40s. The first little clue that you might have in early perimenopause that your progesterone levels have dipped is your sleep will be affected. So you might start waking up in the middle of the night, whereas you didn't do that before, or you might just find that your sleep gets a bit scrappy. It might be harder to fall into sleep. When your progesterone levels dip as well and becomes kind of out of balance with estrogen, you can get quite heavy periods and PMS, maybe for the first time ever. And usually when you're suffer from PMS, you're said to be estrogen dominant. Your progesterone levels are just lagging a little bit behind. The symptoms of that are irritability, a bit breast tenderness, and sometimes there can be a little bit of inflammation and joint pain before the period as well. That's very much they very common symptoms of early perimenopause. As you get into later stages of perimenopause, that's when you're going to start feeling a dip in estrogen as well. The periods can get lighter, they can get scrappy, and they can get far apart. And that's how you know your estrogen levels are dipping a little bit. And I suppose that's when you may get all the symptoms like hot flushes and all the things that Eileen normally talks about.
Yeah. One of the really interesting things that is not always picked up is that second phase of the perimenopause, when you're still getting periods, you can start to get the menopause symptoms as well.
Yeah.
And very often everybody gets really worried about this because they think other things are going on. But this is the phase just before periods stop for good, when your body can be in complete hormonal chaos. So once your periods stop for good, all that basically means is there aren't enough hormones produced to give you that monthly cycle. But your hormones can still continue to decrease for a number of years afterwards. And this is why a lot of you come to me and they're worried because periods have stopped, but they're still getting menopause symptoms. So you need to be aware that this hormonal flux can continue for a little bit longer after your periods have stopped. Once you've got through the 2 years, so we normally say that after 2 years without any periods, that's you post-menopause. But symptoms can still continue after that point, although if it's for years and years, very often other health issues are incorporated and may be at fault as well. So just be aware of that. Once your periods have been stopped for quite a while, your hormones do come to their own natural level. They don't disappear completely. You're not ever hormone-less, but your hormones will reach a much lower level. And your body basically just has to start to learn to adjust and be comfortable at that lower level. But there are many things that you can do to help support the hormones that you have left, maybe to increase them in some way to make you feel better if you are struggling. So the main things here are to eat plenty of phytoestrogen-rich foods. Phytoestrogen-rich foods, they are the natural foods. They are your fresh foods and vegetables and nuts and seeds. So try and incorporate these into your daily diet. In order to produce estrogen from the foods that you are eating, or what's called phytoestrogens, you need good, robust, strong digestion and elimination. So if you have digestive problems, that's going to hinder this as well. And the other really important thing is your liver. Liver health is paramount in the perimenopause and the menopause because it helps to eliminate excess hormones or hormones that may be causing a few problems and unsettling everything. So taking care and giving your liver a little bit of TLC again is really important for your postmenopausal health and happiness. You can look at what's called soya isoflavin. So these are natural estrogen compounds that are extracted from soya and taken in a supplement form. They can help to just very gently balance out that estrogen imbalance, maybe raise your estrogen levels just very slightly, and that can go a long way to helping ease a number of estrogen minus symptoms.
The other thing, I suppose, that I like to bear in mind as well, because once you're into sort of late perimenopause and the ovaries sort of wind down, you're going to want to get your estrogen from it's going to be produced in different parts of the body, and where most of the estrogen after perimenopause is produced is in your adrenal glands. And as we know, the adrenal glands are basically where the stress hormones are coming from, or where some of the stress hormones are coming from. So if you go into perimenopause stressed off your noggin or stressed off your head, basically your body isn't going to be able to produce its own estrogen naturally. So really just going in with a handle on stress is just going to be a fantastic way of managing things. And sleeping well, because when your progesterone levels dip, it does affect your ability to sleep well or sleep throughout the night. So anything you can do to improve sleep quality, whether that's going to bed a little bit earlier or managing your stress, whether you do that by balancing your blood sugar levels or tweaking your lifestyle, will really stand to you and your feelings of well-being. You know, when you're dealing with this menopausal transition, a lot of my friends are on HRT as well, and they're finding it supportive, but it's not necessarily dealing with all of their issues, particularly where it comes to stress and sleep. So anything you can do yourself as regards diet and lifestyle changes, and just small, easy to remember measures and easy to do little tips are going to make a massive difference.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Sarah. So I hope you enjoyed this. it's a very complex subject. We've tried to make things as simple as possible. If any of you have any other questions out there, please send them in and we will be happy to help you. So until then, I'll see you next week for another edition of A. Vogel Talks Menopause.